Franklin and Richie Wagoner with you live here at the Salem Civic Center. Starting lineups about to be introduced for Eastern Mennnonite and Guilford, again to set the stage for another full day of basketball here in Virginia's championship city. Second women's semifinal will feature number 2 Randolph-Macon and number 3 Lynchburg. And then the men's semifinals, how about this, 2, 5, 8, and 11, as opposed to the women's side where it's 1, 2, 3, and 4. The first matchup this evening, 6 p.m., number 5 Eastern Mennnonite and number 8 Hampton-Sydney after the Tigers took down top seed Randolph-Macon yesterday. And then number 2 Virginia Wesleyan against number 11 Washington and Lee, the lowest seed ever to make it to the semifinals, as the Generals have knocked out number 6 Randolph and then got number 3 Guilford last night. March Madness, it's the first day of March.
Well, it really is, and on the men's side, since they went to the unbalanced schedule and everybody made the tournament, the teams that have played that early week game, whether it's Monday for the women or Tuesday for the men, the people that have won those Tuesday games have a great record on Friday in the ODAC tournament, because maybe they didn't have quite the rest. They were still in their rhythm, and that's why we see so many lower seeds win in the men's bracket versus the women's side where it's usually top heavy.
Certainly is this season. No upsets at all. 5 through 8 won in the first round. 1 through 4 knocked those teams off in the quarterfinals on Thursday. Keys to today's matchup, it's 1 versus 4, but this looks like a very even contest on paper, as it has been in recent years.
Well, the last 2 years in the ODAC tournament, we had a 3-point victory, a 2-point victory. They play each other to a double overtime game earlier this season. These are the 2 most veteran teams we have in the ODAC. All-conference players on both sides, senior all-conference players on both sides. So a lot of experience. For Guilford, lower seed, but they've got that tournament experience. 2 straight championships. You've got Gabby Oglesby and Morgan King, 2 of the dominant post players in the league. And look for them to do exactly what they did against Virginia Wesleyan. Oglesby came out really hot, scoring, rebounding the basketball, and able to stretch the defense. When you have to pack it in against those guys, gives your guards some open looks. For Eastern Mennnonite, if they're in a half-court game, Bianca Garza is going to have a more efficient game than she had on Thursday. Scored her points, but only did it at about a 30% clip. She's going to have to step up, especially with their number 1 shooter, Marla Zumfeldi, out again today. That limits what they do out there on the perimeter.
Zumfeldi, who averages better than 2 3-point makes per game in street clothes, as she was for the quarterfinal against Shenandoah on Thursday. Starting lineup for number 4 Guilford and head coach Stephanie Flamini, Jeanette Taylor, Kayla Adams, Brittany Drew, Gabby Oglesby, and Morgan King. Oglesby and King, first and second team All-ODAC selections respectively. Eastern Mennnonite and ODAC Coach of the Year Kevin Griffin will send out Kayla Baltimore, Alyssa Brown, Bianca Igarza, Steph Reinheimer, and Becky Barrett. Igarza a first-team All-ODAC pick, Baltimore on the third team. And how about this for the Royals and their depth? They bring in 2 All-ODAC selections off the bench. Shakira Sykes was a third-team selection, and Jess Reinheimer on the second team.
Well, Sykes has been a great player in the ODAC. This is her second time being an all-conference performer. A great player to bring off the bench. Barrett came in this year, was able to take over that starting role. She's not going to play the minutes that Sykes plays, but it allows you to bring in a really tough offensive player on the interior, fresh about 5 minutes into the game.
Underway here in the ODAC semifinals. Guilford in black, Eastern Mennnonite in white. Glad to have you along. These 2 teams played in the final last year. Quakers 161-59. Oglesby had monster first half against Virginia Wesleyan, misses. Jeanette Taylor scrapping for an offensive rebound, and the Quakers can reset.
And that's what you've got to worry about if you're Eastern Mennnonite. You spend so much time and so many people doubling down on the post players that these guards are very athletic, very active. They can sneak in and get some offensive rebounds.
Adams off glass, no, and now a Quaker foul on the rebound, so a couple of decent looks for Guilford, but neither goes down.
And that's not what you want to see if you're Eastern Mennnonite. You want to see Guilford play outside in, not inside out. They were able to get it inside. Those shots will fall as the game goes on. Guilford, nice first possession, getting 2 point-blank shots, even though they didn't fall.
The foul was against Jeanette Taylor. Eastern Mennonite's first look on the offensive end. Igarza against King will drive it in. Help defense comes. Igarza running down the loose ball, but then Brittany Drew takes it away.
And it's so hard with those 2 post players. You get past one of them, the other one's sitting there waiting on you, and that's exactly what happened to Igarza on that possession.
So a scoreless opening minute. Two excellent defensive clubs. Oglesby off the dribble. No good with the jump shot.
Nice job by Reinheimer. Stepped over, got a little piece of that shot. She was able to leave her player and double Oglesby on the 12-footer.
This is Steph Reinheimer. Now inside, Garza wants a look. Tough shot against the Quaker defense. Adams comes away with the basketball.
And Garza loves to post up inside, but she's not going to have the success that she normally has trying to post up King and Oglesby. She needs to play more in that mid-range where she can penetrate around her defender rather than trying to go over the top.
Two empty possessions apiece. Who's going to strike first here in the ODAC semifinals? Shot clock at 8 for Guilford. Taylor on the take. Reinheimer got a piece. Oglesby the rebound. Now King will flip it in.
I think Guilford was really fortunate there because she was able to get clear. Don't know if that ball really kicked the rim when it came off the backboard hard. Oglesby was able to get the rebound, and King knocked down the shot to put Guilford on the board first.
Garza, tough to get a look over Oglesby. The rebound tapped out to Baltimore.
With Oglesby and King, they're both 6-footers. When they extend their arms, they're well over 7 feet. It's really tough to shoot over the top from that close in.
Royals still looking for their first points, 2.5 minutes in. Reinheimer's three is good. Steph Reinheimer, senior from Anaheim, Pennsylvania, knocks it down.
And the Reinheimer sisters are both going to have to knock down some outside shots because like we talked about, the strength of this Guilford team defensively is interior, so they're going to get some looks at the three-point range, and it's nice to see the senior knock down one early.
So a 1-point Eastern Mennnonite lead. Taylor, long two, no good.
And you've got to give them that shot. They doubled down on King. They didn't allow them to get the ball inside. You're going to give up the 12 to 14-foot jump shot. If Guilford can't knock those down, they're going to have trouble scoring efficiently on the offensive end.
Reinheimer gets it inside to Barrett. Back out it comes, 7 on the shot clock. Barrett, Oglesby clean block.
And there's a 6'2" Barrett trying to shoot over top of Oglesby, but she's so athletic. She's such a great shot blocker. Unless you give her a head fake, you're not going to get that shot off.
Morgan King, such a nice touch on that jump shot.
Incredible touch. We talked about it on Thursday. Shot clock's running down. She shot a step-back 18-footer that hit nothing but net from the baseline. It's really not fair that a 6-footer can step out and do that.
Baltimore, now Barrett. Reinheimer pick and roll, but King defends, so the ball comes to Garza instead. Now Barrett's open underneath. Good movement by the Royal offense, and Barrett lays it up and in.
And exactly what I was just talking about. Garza caught it at the foul line, penetrated past Oglesby. The help had to step in, and that left 2 post players against Morgan King down low, and she couldn't cover both of them. Easy basket for the Royals.
They're back in front by 1. King. Found by Oglesby, such a quick release in addition to the stroke.
You can't defend it when she elevates. She's 7.5 feet, 8 feet off the floor. There's no way a 5'6" defender is going to step up and block that, and she's got all the points here so far for Guilford.
Averages 11.2 per game. Senior from TT, North Carolina. 6'5" Guilford. Garza throws the body into Oglesby, but still cannot hit. Adams nearly turned it over in transition. That'll bring our first whistle in a while and allow the Royals to get some fresh blood into the game. The other All-ODAC selection, Shakira Sykes and Jess Reinheimer coming in, and so is the younger Garza. That's Alicia.
And that's what you're going to see. Both teams have nice deep benches. We were going to see which team was going to go to their bench first. Looks like Eastern Mennnonite going to try and use their depth here early in this one.
Morgan King has scored all 8 points for the Quakers.
It's a complete reversal of what we saw on Thursday. Oglesby scored the first 8 points of the game on Thursday. Now King, her front court mate, scores the first 8 points of the game today. Nice having, if you're Coach Fulmini, having both those players to go to at any time.
Jess Reinheimer looking to post up King and travels.
It's just so hard. It's so hard when they hold their ground. They're so veteran oriented. They're so smart. They don't leave their feet to block shots, and it makes it really tough when you post them up and you're giving up 3, 4, 5 inches on the interior.
3-point lead for Guilford. Taylor out front. Now Oglesby with her back to the basket. Sykes is defending. Oglesby will shoot over her and get her first points.
And Sykes did exactly what she had to do. She's not as quick as Oglesby. She had to give her a step. If not, Oglesby would have used that nice spin move to go for the layup. She gave her a step, dared Oglesby to hit the 12-footer, and she did right in her face.
Just inside of 14 minutes to play here in the first half. Sykes on the attack, throws one up, and Oglesby again defending on the play.
And the one time that they penetrated and dished inside, they got a clean look. Other than that, they haven't had a single clean look inside the paint yet in the first 6.5, 7 minutes of play.
Quakers have scored 6 in a row. 2 buckets from King, and then Oglesby on the board. Shot clock at 9. Taylor backing out, got to get something going to the rim pretty quickly. Taylor drives all the way in and kept Egarza at her hip. Alicia Egarza committing the foul.
And if you watch that championship game last year, that's the exact play they called the timeout and went to, except it was Brittany Atwater, the senior point guard of a year ago, and King running the screen and roll. This time, Taylor and King, same screen and roll that they used last year to win the championship, sends Taylor to the free throw line.
She averages under 5 points per game, but Richie, 10 big ones in the quarterfinal. Everyone getting involved for Guilford in the big victory over Virginia Wesleyan.
Well, not only the starters, they had 4 starters in double figures, but they had 3 players come off the bench and contribute huge inside, including a player in Miranda Martin that was averaging about 1.5 points a game, came in a 5-minute stretch, 5 points, 8 rebounds, kind of dominated and put that game away on Thursday.
1 of 2 for Taylor. Jess Reinheimer fouled on the three-point attempt. We saw her try to post up King. That's going to be a better weapon for Eastern Mennnonite, for Jess Reinheimer to look for the jump shot and stretch the Guilford defense out.
Jess Reinheimer, with Zumfeldi out, she is the best outside shooter that Eastern Mennnonite has. And if you're going to put a post player on, they're going to play her at the 4 position. So either King or Oglesby is going to have to guard her. You've got to come out and play her three-point line extended. So you have to get in her face. That time King got a little bit close. But notice how fast that Reinheimer was able to get that shot off, knowing she had to go over the 6-footer.
First 2 go down, 1 more coming for Jess Reinheimer, the Royals' second leading scorer, 10.2 a game. Sykes right behind her at 9.9. Here comes Steph Reinheimer back in the game, and Brown will take a seat.
The thing about Reinheimer, 82% from the free throw line. So when she gets there, she has her chances. She knocks them down. And that's not what you want to do if you're Morgan King committing a foul 20 feet from the basket.
3 for 3 for Jess Reinheimer. It's a 3-point game. A little bit of pressure from the Royals. No trouble in that sequence for Guilford.
Here's the zone. I was wondering if they were going to implore the zone. They went to the 2-3 zone. They're a little undersized out there right now with the 2 Reinheimers playing the forward positions, so they've gone to the zone. Can Guilford get it inside to crack this zone defense?
It's a good feed from Adams to Oglesby. She misses, but Morgan King, little fadeaway mid-range jumper.
And that's the toughest thing about a zone defense. You don't have individual box-out responsibilities. Makes it susceptible to give up offensive rebounds, and King made them pay on that one.
Errant pass from Sykes went right to King. Quakers have the ball in a 5-point lead. Oglesby looking to get more involved. This is very difficult for any team to defend. You know Oglesby can post up, you know King can shoot those mid-range jump shots, but they are scoring in a variety of ways here in this ODAC semifinal.
Well, Sykes, the first time she defended Oglesby, she gave her about 3 feet, made her shoot this jump shot straight away. I talked about the spin move. That's the spin move I was talking about. When Oglesby gets you down and feels that contact, as soon as she feels contact, she's comfortable spinning either way. That time spun into the paint, got a clean look at the 6-footer and knocked it down.
Royals down by 7 early on. How can they recover from a rough start?
They're going to have to do it on the defensive end. You saw them start to implore a little bit of pressure. We noticed in the second half of the game against Virginia Wesleyan was able to cause Guilford to turn the ball over a few times, weren't able to convert on it. Eastern Mennonite's going to have to do that. If Eastern Mennonite's going to try and win this game by playing a half-court offensive game against Guilford, they're going to have a tough time of it here this afternoon.
12 minutes left in the first half. Eastern Mennonite entering on a 13-game winning streak. That'll help the Royals. Kayla Baltimore from downtown.
That's who's got to step up and be big. You've got a senior point guard that's an all-ODAC performer. She's not a great shooter, but we really don't know how good of a shooter is because she doesn't shoot a whole lot. But when she gets left open out there, if she can knock down some shots, that's going to be huge for the Royals.
Had a fantastic tournament last year. She was the Royals' leading scorer in their quarterfinal and semifinal wins against Washington and Lee and Lynchburg.
And she's such a good distributor. You forget how good she can shoot the ball when she chooses to.
Cruz 3 off the mark, but King pulling down the offensive rebound. New 30-second clock for the Quakers.
They've got to be approaching double-digit offensive rebounds already here in the first half for the Quakers. They've been able to extend these possessions, and that's why they've been able to keep the lead.
Turnover. Interception there by Jess Reinheimer.
Need to see if they can get something here in transition. This is Eastern Mennonate's game. They turn you over and they try and push the ball down quickly and attack the basket. Good job by Guilford defensively to get back and not allow that to happen.
Jess Reinheimer feeds to Sykes. It's a good one. And Shakira Sykes will be going to the line for 2.
Nice job right there. Reinheimer's already stepped out, showed she's got 3-point range. They have to know where she is. That extends the defense, and that allows Sykes to get loose inside on a switch. And there's no way Brittany Drew is going to stop Shakira Sykes without fouling her in this interior.
Sykes, a 64% foul shooter. Chance to pull the Royals back within 2. We'll finally see Guilford go to the bench, and East Weatherly has come on, and so has Logan Harden. So King will get her first break. Oglesby stays on the floor. And Sykes pulls the Royals to within 15-13.
And look for Coach Flamini to try and keep at least one of those two on the floor at all times as long as there's not any kind of foul trouble. But Harden came in, did some great work on the boards on Thursday against Virginia Wesleyan, and they're going to need that same type of effort here this afternoon with King, your leading scorer, over there on the bench.
Weatherly on the drive. No finish, but Oglesby in there, had the rebound and lost it to Baltimore.
Good job right there by Alyssa Brown, reaching in and was able to knock the ball away from Oglesby.
What a finish. Bianca Igarza losing her footing, but gets the shot to go in transition.
And that's her game right there. Igarza averages over 14 points a game, but 10 of those 14 points are usually come in transition. That's her first transition basket here, and now the defensive intensity's turned up. We've got a turnover. Eastern Mennonite tied up right back in this one.
And timeout Guilford. Eastern Mennonite has scored the last 7, and the pressure gets to the Quakers. One thing to mention, an extra weapon for that press is that the 10-second count is now a part of NCAA women's basketball as of this season. Normally, you could take your time, and it might hurt you indirectly. You'd only have 16, 18 seconds on the shot clock if it took you more than 10 seconds to get it up the court. But one extra thing to think about, one extra way to make that press more effective.
And just a little more added pressure, that mental pressure of knowing that you've got to have a clock in your head to be able to get the ball across half court. So not only are you facing the physical pressure of a really good pressing team in Eastern Mennonite, you've got a little bit of that added mental pressure knowing you've got to get the ball across half court. You don't want to get that 10-second violation.
So a chance for the Royals to take the lead. They were up early before Guilford stretched it out to a 7-point margin. Baltimore will feed away to Brown. Now inside, Jess Reinheimer posting up Harden. Kept Harden's feet moving, got the call.
Nice job right there. You saw where she tried to post up King earlier, didn't have that success. You bring in Logan Harden, nice player, nice tough player, but she doesn't have the sheer size and shot blocking ability as King, and Reinheimer was able to take advantage of that and get right back to the foul line where she's already 3 of 3 here in the first half.
Make it 4 of 4, 82% on the season. Sophomore from Mannheim, Pennsylvania. Of the Eastern Mennonite sisters. They're the same year, the two older ones, Bianca Igarza, Steph Reinheimer are seniors, and then Alicia and Jess are sophomores. Deflection, this will stay Guilford basketball.
And really struggling. What you would like to see Guilford do is to use one of their post players, Oglesby or now Harden in the game, to get the ball into the middle of the floor using their size to help beat that pressure rather than just relying on your 3 guards to pass it back and forth.
And Drew threw a pass at Adams' feet. Now the Royals have it. Garza runs the floor so well, and she'll be going to the line.
And that's her game. I mean, she's not a great above-average half-court player. She is a good 90-foot player. That's why she's been so special over her 4 years at Eastern Mennonite, is her ability to get out in transition and attack the basket.
Guilford fouled the first on Kayla Adams. Bianca Garza, 67% at the free throw line. It's the unorthodox motion. The momentum propels her forward. I did see a lane violation called on her. Got to be careful with that in a regular season game for the Royals.
When she gets that momentum going forward, she's got to make sure it touches the rim before she puts that foot down in the paint.
No trouble that time. Eastern Mennonite 9 of 9 at the free throw line. The Royals in the midst of an 11-zip run. And almost broken by a King layup. Alyssa Brown came out of nowhere and got her money's worth to prevent the easy hoop.
Yeah, and Martin, too unselfish there. After the game she had the other day, she should have just continued that, made that layup. You don't ever want to see your offensive team, when you're attacking the basket, throw the ball backwards. It allows the defense to get back into play, and Brown, to her credit, never gave up on it, making King earn them at the stripe.
Morgan King is automatic at the free throw line. It's not really fair to have a post player who shoots 88% there, is it?
Especially when you've got another post player that's a former ODAC Player of the Year sitting right next to her. They're such a dynamic duo. They've played so well off of each other throughout their career, and King having a whale of a game here to start this one.
She's got a dozen, and that snaps the Eastern Mennonite spurt. Guilford within 2, just over 9 minutes to go. Nora Osei on the floor for the Royals. Richie mentioned Miranda Martin. Lila Scott has also come in for the Quakers. Brown, the handoff to Steph Reinheimer. Now Baltimore gets it. Shot clock winding down. Bianca Garza got to put something up here. Martin got a piece. And the horn on the shot clock expires, so this will be Guilford basketball.
And that's part of the new rule. Used to, when the ball hit the rim, the shot clock automatically reset. Now the shot clock does not reset until someone secures possession off the rim. So even though she hit the rim, the clock went to 0, they got the ball, it's still a violation.
As you said, Eastern Mennonite wants to get out and score in transition. 2 reasons. 1, that's really the Royals game. And 2, it is very difficult to score against the Quakers in the half court. They give up under 53 points per game.
Well, statistically, we talked about it on Thursday. Virginia Wesleyan and Guilford, probably the 2 best, statistically speaking, the 2 best defensive teams in the league. And they make it really hard on you. They choke off what you like to do, which is get up and down the floor and penetrate. They hustle back on D and make you earn it. And Garza just really struggling on the interior so far. Only thing she's really gotten going is out in transition.
Taylor the pull-up and cans the jump shot.
And this is part of that depth for both teams that we talked about. You look on the floor now, each team is into their 2nd, 3rd, 4th rotation. Both teams using a lot of players, and that's why you see this up and down action.
Stealing the fast break bucket, Jeanette Taylor. Just like that, the Quakers have the lead.
And we should see that all afternoon. See what you can do, here's what I can do. And these 2 are going to go back and forth throwing punches at each other all afternoon.
Osei, a prolific goal scorer for the Eastern Mennonite soccer team. He's had a turnaround season back in the fall. Role player, but a big contributor to the Royals on the basketball court. There's Baltimore attacking off the dribble and getting a trip to the foul line as a result.
She went in to try and challenge King, was not able to, but Kayla Adams, who she had beaten off the dribble, reached in, got her with the body, and that's going to be her 2nd foul, I believe.
Baltimore 71% at the line. The Royals have made their first 10 free throws. This is an Eastern Mennonite team that shoots 68% at the foul line.
We've seen a lot of that. These rims must be really kind. We saw Nancy Kelly, a 62% shooter, go 8 of 9 for Virginia Wesleyan on Thursday. So the rim's really conducive now to the shooting from the free throw line at least.
Something tells me if you and I went out there and started shooting free throws, we'd bring the percentages down.
Probably.
I would. I don't know about you. This is going to stay Eastern Mennnonite basketball. The rebound knocked out by the Quakers. So 1 point Guilford lead. 7 and change to go first half. Jeanette Taylor.
Everywhere right now.
Yep.
I mean, she's coming. She's all over the floor. She got a steal and a layup just a possession before. She's already got a couple of offensive rebounds to extend possessions. She's doing a great job, and they're going to need her with Kayla Adams, their senior guard, sitting on the bench with 2 fouls.
Brittany Atwater, the big loss at point guard. Graduating from Guilford's championship team from a year ago. Offensive foul called here on Nora Osei for leaning into Oglesby.
And that's a big point of emphasis. Not only did she lean in, she hooked her with that elbow. And if you put a hand or an elbow around the waist of an defensive player, it's been an automatic call all season long.
So Atwater certainly a big loss for what she did in this tournament. 25 points in the semifinals against Virginia Wesleyan last year. I thought just as big was losing Jacqueline Nucci, one of those glue players, never lit up the stat sheet. Taylor could fill that role even though she's a different type of player.
Absolutely. Nucci was one of the best mid-range shooters we've had in the ODAC in a while. Came in as a junior college player with a lot of praise, and she was a great 12 to 14-foot jump shooter, also a great distributor of the basketball at 5'8".
Trouble, though, for Taylor. That's her second foul as Alyssa Brown goes to the line for 2.
Now we're going to have Lila Scott play some big minutes. She did step in, hit a 3-pointer in the first half against the Marlins on Thursday. But right now, with Adams and Taylor both on the bench, you're really fortunate that you do have a 3-guard rotation. But right now, Brittany Drew going to have to go the rest of the way handling the ball for the Quakers.
Brown has tied it. She shoots 69% at the free throw line. Not able to give Eastern Mennnonite the lead. Scott, Drew, Oglesby, Weatherly, and now Sarah Bernick on the floor for Guilford. Baltimore, Brown, Jess Reinheimer, Sykes, and Alicia Egarza for the Royals.
And right back to the zone for Eastern Mennnonite. That was a silly foul. Coach Griffin really discussed it there. You don't want to see a reach in at the high post with a 6-footer or back to the basket. And that was a reach in, a bad foul right there by Sykes.
Good inbounds pass sets up the look for Gabby Oglesby. She's got half a dozen.
How soft the ball comes off the hands of Oglesby and King. That wasn't a pure shot right there. It caught a lot of rim, but it was so smooth and so light. It just caught the rim, rolled right in. Another great jump shot by Oglesby.
Quakers back in front. Baltimore sets up Jess Reinheimer, and she sinks the mid-range J.
And that's what Kayla Baltimore gives you, such a heady ball handler. She can knock down a shot when she's open. She knocks down her free throws. But when she dribbles and draws the defense to her, she's able to give it to her shooters in a great position to shoot in rhythm.
Traveling violation on Denise Weatherly.
And that's what happens when you just try and beat a zone defense by passing around the perimeter. You need to try and get the ball in the short corner in the high post, make the defense collapse. If not, they're just sitting there waiting on you for the drive.
5:40 left first half, tied at 23. Would have expected nothing less after watching the Royals and the Quakers square off. The last 2 years in Salem, Jess Reinheimer, back-to-back field goals, that one from three-point range.
And the best thing about that is allows you to get right into that pressure defense, run some clock, and put pressure on Guilford with 2 of their starting guards on the bench.
Bernick lost her footing. Kick out to Weatherly, that's a long 2, but a big answer from the outside for Guilford's leading scorer off the bench.
But it wasn't pretty, it wasn't the way you drew it up, but they got the ball to the short corner, collapsed the defense, and kicked it out to a shooter who had her feet set, and Weatherly was able to knock it down. That's exactly what I was talking about on the last possession.
Inside out, that's a double dribble I thought on Brown, not called. Missed his shot, rebound knocked away, Brown ends up with it.
Yeah, she got away with one there.
Sykes posting up, Oglesby another shot block, and then Shakira Sykes over the back. That'll be her second.
That's going to get Sykes out of the game. Wasn't really anything Sykes could do. Brown had dribbled into her, so you had 2 offensive players trying to occupy the same 3-foot place on the floor, and it really got it jumbled up and made it easy for Oglesby just to pick which shot she wanted to block.
It's the 5th team foul on the Royals. With the big second one on Sykes, Bianca Igarza returning. Morgan King back out there. So it's King and Oglesby together without Sykes in the ballgame.
Sykes nor Barrett. So you've got a really small lineup in there. Reinheimer and Igarza are playing the 2 big spots for you on the floor. So a big advantage to Guilford if they can get the ball inside.
Weatherly, another jump shot. Air balls to 3, but Lila Scott there on the weak side for the stick back.
So that's when you want to ask if you get the assist on that one. Was that a lob or was that a shot? Either way, the Quakers retake the lead.
It's a Derek Wittenberg pass.
That's it.
Lorenzo Charles on the other end. 27-26 Quakers.
Good move right here by Guilford. You're putting a much bigger player in Weatherly on Baltimore now, so she's not going to have that clean look from the outside, and she's really going to have to concentrate on trying to penetrate past Weatherly because she's not going to be able to shoot over the top.
I like this decision from Stephanie Flamini. You've got Taylor and Adams in foul trouble, so just go big.
Absolutely. Especially if they're going to play a zone. If they're not going to press you and put that tons of pressure, man-to-man pressure, run and jump like they like to do on you, you can get the ball up and you can pay off by having a bigger lineup. And it helps when you've got somebody like Weatherly, 5'9", 5'10", that can play that small forward spot.
Turnover Eastern Mennnonite as the Royals were looking to feed Jess Reinheimer on the baseline. Stoppage with 3:23 to go.
Adams going to have to play smart coming in the game with those 2 fouls. Going into halftime with 2 fouls versus 3 fouls is a huge difference.
Quakers starting to solve the Eastern Mennnonite pressure after a couple of early turnovers.
Still like to see them flash one of the post players to the high post. I think they'd break it a lot easier if they did.
Shot clock at 6. Adams, baseline pull up, no. Weatherly tapped that one. Now King has it, and Morgan King with the finish.
And that's what we talked about, the size right now. Reinheimer, who's a small forward, playing center, and it's really tough on the Eastern Mennnonite to secure those rebounds. Great move right there on the offensive end.
Jess Reinheimer's got a dozen. King now with 14 for Guilford, 1-point game. Quakers swing it side to side. Drew will pop the 3. That's not a good possession for Guilford until Gabby Oglesby and Morgan King start working on the offensive glass.
And right now, with them in that zone and having no 6-footers, no size really out there on the floor, just throw one up there because they have no way of boxing out both King and Oglesby. If the shot doesn't come with a long rebound, more than likely Guilford's going to get it right now. It was dangerous. She could have picked up her second.
King going after that, knocked it away from Bianca Igarza. Royals keep it, shot clock at 14.
Last 2 minutes really crucial for Eastern Mennnonite to continue to score because right now they really don't have any answers on stopping Guilford on the other end.
Jump shot missed by Jess Reinheimer, but the Quakers are unable to control the rebound. It's still EMU basketball.
And Igarza doing a really good job of being active. Even though she's given up a ton of size out there, really being active and making it tough. She's extended the last 2 possessions for the Royals.
Baltimore, deep 2, short, but Bianca Igarza all along under the rim, an easy stick back.
3 straight, whether she's gotten the offensive rebound or got her hands on the offensive rebound and extend possessions, and that was a huge basket because if they had to stop in another basket, you would have had Guilford with a chance to open up about a 6 or 7 point lead going into the break.
And instead, the margin down to 1 again. Adams using the left hand, no. And King's put back. Jess Reinheimer got the basketball, but also a piece of her hand.
Let's say it wasn't a very good shot by Adams, but she drew 3 defenders. And when 3 defenders are on the shooter, that means there's no way to box out King and Oglesby, and King with yet another offensive rebound and another trip to the free throw line.
That's the 15th point for the second team All-ODAC pick.
And what did Oglesby have on Thursday? 17 in the first half, 16 or 17 in the first half?
17, yep.
So one does it one day, the other one does it the next.
hope we got a recording of Morgan King missing a free throw. That's like a Sasquatch sighting.
No kidding. Between she and Reinheimer, they don't miss many.
2-point Guilford lead. 88% at the line is King. This is Steph Reinheimer. Scoop shot, missed everything. And Brittany Drew grabs it for Guilford. 1 minute left in the first half.
Great box out by Drew. Kept Garza from getting her hands on yet another offensive rebound and gives Guilford a chance with the lead to extend it here in the last minute.
Royals have been in the zone most of this first half. Weatherly, pull up, way too strong.
Drew was going to have that offensive rebound. Went to jump, her right foot gave way a little bit, wasn't able to save that possession for another offensive rebound for Guilford, but I liked what they did right there. They flashed Morgan King high. She was able to get Weatherly a nice, easy look at a 16-footer, just wasn't able to knock it down.
About a 12-second differential between the game and shot clocks. Asia Mott is in for the Quakers. Get Adams and Taylor on the bench with the two personals. Alyssa Brown for three, no. Weatherly rebound, 17 seconds to go.
Now Guilford has a chance to take the last shot of the half, so they should at least go into the halftime break with the lead.
6 seconds to play. King, clear out against DeGarza. Pulls up short, and the ball deflects out of bounds as time expires in the first half. A 2-point lead for the two-time defending ODAC champions at the break. Your thoughts on the first 20 minutes?
Well, right there you can see Coach Flamini talking to her young guards out there. She wanted to go to that bread and butter, that screen and roll. They never got into it. King almost was able to knock it down, but Garza, great job in her second rotation here at the end of the half to keep Eastern Mennnonite in the game. Guilford inside just dominating. Got to have well over 10 offensive rebounds, killing them in second chance points. But Eastern Mennnonite, led by Jess Reinheimer, has been able to keep them in the game in a 2-point game, anybody's game here as we start the second half.
Our halftime score here in Salem, Guilford 32 and Eastern Mennnonite 30. We'll come back with you for the second half in just a bit on ODAC.tv. Welcome back courtside here at the Salem Civic Center as we get set for the start of the second half. ODAC women's basketball semifinal number 1. Number 4 Guilford on top of number 1 Eastern Mennnonite 32-30. The winner moves on to Sunday's championship to face either Randolph-Macon or Lynchburg. Guilford College in that first half shooting 47%, plus 11 on the glass. Eastern Mennnonite hanging in there by forcing 8 Quaker turnovers and going 11 of 13 at the free throw line. Jeremy Franklin and Richie Wagner back with you. Keys to the second half for both teams.
Well, for Guilford, you want to try and continue what you're doing. You're dominating on the glass. You've got about 16 points in the paint, 11 second chance points on 11 offensive rebounds. You want to try and continue to do that. Where Eastern Mennnonite has been able to go on their runs. They've been able to turn Guilford over, get in transition, and get a couple of easy baskets. And then the bench, led by Reinheimer, has done a great job keeping Eastern Mennnonite in this. Now they've got to see Garza, Sykes, some of their other all-conference ODAC performers step up if they want to come back and win this one here in the second half.
Got to find a way to contain Morgan King as well. 17 points and 7 rebounds, 7 of 8 from the field in the first half.
And 5 offensive rebounds. It's just so hard. They went to that zone to try and neutralize some size, and it was hard to box out.
Bianca Garza going right to work. A bucket just 10 seconds into the half, and we are tied.
And that's exactly what we talked about at the start of the game. She was 2 of 7. She scored her 2 baskets on penetration and in transition. She's not as effective when she's trying to straight post up. That time, she pulled King away from the basket, drove by her, laid it in to tie the score.
Morgan King picking up right where she left off.
And that's that shot when I talk about not being fair. She's 12 feet from the basket. She steps back, she elevates. There's no way you're going to get a hand in her face to stop that shot. If she's knocking that down, that's a tough weapon to try and overcome.
It is 34-32 as the Quakers have the 2-point advantage. Each team with its starting lineup on the floor at the outside of the half. Oglesby, another shot block. And this is going to stay Eastern Mennnonite basketball with 7 seconds left on the possession clock.
But again, it was Garza penetrating instead of just trying to run a straight post-up move, and now they have a second chance.
Becky Barrett Called for the wraparound, looking to seal off King down low.
Second time we've seen it. When that hand goes out from the offensive post player and makes contact on the waist area of the defender, they've been really calling that offensive foul. Wish they had it about 5 or 6 years ago, because I can't tell you how many times I called for that from the bench.
King out front for the Quakers. Lob inside, somehow makes it through to Gabby Oglesby. King kept the rebound alive, but it's out of bounds. Back to Eastern Mennonite.
As a coach, you're like, that's a terrible pass. You're passing to a post player being guarded by 2 defenders. But when you've got somebody as athletic as Oglesby, she just went up, got it between the 2 defenders. But a good job defensively, not committing a foul and making the shot tougher for Oglesby.
Baltimore up top for Alyssa Brown. Defense collapses on Bianca Igarza. Royals recover the loose ball. 10 on the shot clock. Steph Reinheimer cans the 3.
And that was huge right there. Eastern Mennonite didn't quit on the play. They made a bad pass inside. Kayla Adams came up with it, but they didn't stop on the play, continued to play, and Reinheimer knocked down her second 3 of the game.
Quick shot for the Quakers. Back come the Royals. Brown on the attack. Shot altered by King. Eastern Mennonite still in possession.
With just 15 left to shoot. Shot never hit the rim, so there was no reset of the shot clock.
Down to 7 now. Baltimore the crossover. Bianca Igarza baseline jumper short. And Jeanette Taylor with the rebound for Guilford.
Good look, but you'll give that shot to Igarza, that spot up jump shot, rather than letting her penetrate.
Adams spotting up and hitting the 3.
And that's who they need. She's their best pure three-point shooter from the outside. She didn't really get it going offensively on Thursday, so if you're Coach Fellini, you love to see that shot go down in such a close game.
Let's see what we've got. Bianca Igarza went down hard. One official had to travel, the other had to foul, and the foul is the call. And that's number 3 on Jeanette Taylor.
That hurts because she had a great first half going before she picked up that second foul and had to go to the bench.
Barrett on the inside. 2 defenders there. And Barrett will score anyway.
Nice step back. In the first half, you saw Barrett try to make that move going towards the basket. There was no way she could shoot it over the outstretched arms of King. That time, got into the body, made the step back move, and was able to bury that nice short jumper.
And the Royals go right back to their press. Taylor gets quadruple teamed. 2 defenders, midcourt line and the sideline, has to burn a timeout. Eastern Mennonite forced a handful of turnovers in that first half. Until Guilford beats the press and gets easy buckets, there's really no incentive for Kevin Griffin to abandon that defense.
Well, you've got to. It was the only positive thing, well, not the only positive thing, but one of the big positive things that Virginia Wesleyan was able to do to Guilford on Thursday. They were able to extend that defense. They started with half court, then they went to 3/4 court, then they went to full court, and they were able to turn it over because just what Guilford did right there, they try and beat the press down the sideline. If they would go to the middle of the floor, you don't have those extra defenders on the side to be able to set the traps like they did right there.
Tied at 37, just over 3 minutes into the second half. ODAC women's semifinals here in Salem. Jeremy Franklin, Richie Wagoner with you. We've got number 2 Randolph-Macon, number 3 Lynchburg at 3 o'clock. Men's semifinals later on tonight. Taylor, pull up, swatted there by Jess Reinheimer, who just checked back in.
Nice job by Jess Reinheimer not quitting on the play. She got beat to the basket, but she had a size advantage, came from behind and came up with the block.
Couple of stops down low, one on Igarza, the other on Barrett, and the Royals bring it back out.
Taylor got really lucky right there. She made some contact in the middle of the floor. Could have been her 4th foul here early in the second half.
Royals seem hesitant to shoot from the outside, and the possession ends in a traveling violation.
Kayla Baltimore hit the 1 3-pointer. Other than that, she hasn't done a whole lot. So if Steph or Jess Reinheimer aren't out there on the floor knocking down outside shots, look for Guilford to continue to just pack it in the paint and dare Eastern Mennonite to take those 16, 18-foot jumpers.
And the Royals are 4 of 6 from 3-point range, just 7 of 23 inside it so far.
And that's where you can get shots against this Quaker defense. You can get outside shots, but you have to live and die by them. And that's what happened to Virginia Wesleyan. Ran out of gas in the second half because Jones and Taylor hit a lot of threes in the first half, kept them in the game. You can get that three-point shot against the Quakers.
Such a strong move by Oglesby to give Guilford the lead. But she's going to get whistled for the foul on the defensive end.
And very rarely do you see Oglesby do that. Usually when she blocks her shot, she blocks it with her wrist. She doesn't come down with the hammer. That time she came down with the arm, fouled Egarza, and now Egarza has a chance to tie the game from the free throw line.
It is just the first personal for the 2011-2012 ODAC Player of the Year. Gabby Oglesby won the award as a sophomore. Three-time first-team All-ODAC selection. Egarza can pull the Royals back even, 15:30 to play. Bianca Egarza 4 for 4 at the foul line as she now hits double figures with 10 points. The Royals back to their press.
And now they've gone from the three-quarter court press to the full court press, trying to turn over these Guilford guards.
Weatherly to pull up, too strong. Rebound ends up in the hands of Drew. Handoff to Oglesby, and a second chance basket for Guilford.
And Morgan King's going to get no credit on the stat sheet, but she fought 3 Royals to get her hands on the ball, tipped it to Drew, and then Oglesby finished to retake the lead.
Alyssa Brown eyeing things from the wing, back to Baltimore. Shot clock at 8. Baltimore down the lane, runner up off glass, won't go. King and Baltimore battle for the rebound. The Royals will keep it.
King had it. Baltimore was able to get just enough of the ball to knock it off King's arm out of bounds. And a good defensive possession, though, for Guilford, really packing it in and daring the Royals to hit a jumper.
How about Kayla Adams with this shot block as Baltimore looked like she had broken free on a cut to the rim.
Great play right there. They screened Adams, but she didn't quit on the play. So many times you see a player, once they get screened, stopped and not try and fight over the top. Adams, great job of fighting over. Even though she wasn't in position, she was able to hustle back for the shot block.
Sykes posting up. Missed everything. Logan Hardin back in, grabs the rebound.
And Drew's done a great job on Jess Reinheimer here in the second half of following her off those screens. They're running Reinheimer off of at least 2, if not 3 screens every trip down the floor, and Drew stayed with her step for step.
Hardin got behind Egarza, who has to foul her. More free throws coming for the Quakers.
And that's what you want to see right now. King's taking a break. She's had the huge offensive game. Give Hardin a few minutes to try and give Oglesby and King some break here in the second half, but you hope for a better shot on the second one than that.
Hardin just 44% at the line. It's the first personal on Bianca Egarza. Hardin still short on the second. Quakers are 4 of 8 at the line in the game.
Bad pass.
And Niece Weatherly with the takeaway.
She stared that down, telegraphed that pass all day long. Weatherly shot the passing lane. Luckily, she wasn't able to get the handle or she'd have had a breakaway layup.
Adams, 10 on the shot clock. Long 2 off the pull-up, off the glass, and good.
There was that screen and roll they love to run. Hardin came up, set the screen. It wasn't a pretty shot by Adams, but you'll take the end result if you're Guilford.
They all count the same.
Absolutely.
4-point Quaker lead. Royals looking to get it inside for Sykes. Lost it off the dribble, got it back. Lost it again. Kick back out, 7 to shoot. Jess Reinheimer, someone's got to put one up. Jess Reinheimer does, and hits it at the buzzer.
A great job right there of stepping around the double team and getting a look at the basket.
14 for Jess Reinheimer. Royals back within the deuce. Oglesby off the back iron, but it does not drop. Chance to tie or take the lead. Bianca Egarza on the attack. That foul is going to be on the floor on Logan Hardin, her second, team's third.
Hardin made the mistake there of taking a step towards Egarza. We've already seen she doesn't want to take that 16-foot jumper. Don't go out to her, let her come to you. Once she took that step forward, there's no way she was going to keep up with the first team All-ODAC player on that.
Miranda Martin returning for Guilford. Nora Osei back on the floor for Eastern Mennnonite. Osei, the post up, the kick out. And Baltimore trying to save it, but that is a backcourt violation.
Osei gives you some size in there, but not a really skilled offensive player. You can guard her one-on-one. You don't have to double team like the guards are having to do. Anytime Sykes catches the ball, the guards are doubling down automatically.
Quakers have the basketball, leading by 2. Looking to make it back to the ODAC championship. Won the title here in 2012 against Virginia Wesleyan, and then against this Eastern Mennnonite team last season. King sets the screen for Adams. Adams off glass and good.
Nice senior play right there. Adams called for this King screen. She said it. They didn't have to worry about the roll because it was such a good screen. There was no switch from Virginia Wesleyan, and Adams was able to get pull-up 6-footer off the glass right through the net.
7 points all in the second half for the Rural Hall, North Carolina native. Osei inside for Sykes, unable to finish.
Nice job by Martin there. She held her ground against the bigger player than Sykes.
Here we go again with Morgan King in the jump shot.
You just can't stop that play. I mean, she set up 16 feet from the basket. Sykes is a 6-footer, was right in her face, but when you can elevate over the top, and you've got that smooth of a stroke, you just can't stop that shot from King.
Just a little bit of separation for the Quakers, the biggest lead that either team has had since that early 15-8 Guilford edge. Brown, offensive foul, Miranda Martin making another big play.
That's 2 good defensive plays in a row by Martin. She held her ground against Sykes, made it tough for her to shoot the interior shot. Then she stepped over, absorbed the contact, drew the charge, and now Guilford has a chance to extend this lead.
Timeout Eastern Mennnonite with 11:25 left here in the second half, 47-41 Guilford. Let's look ahead quickly. Our second semifinal, number 2 Randolph-Macon, the high-flying Yellow Jackets taking on number 3 Lynchburg, which is back in the semifinals for a second straight season. Those two teams split during the regular season. What are your expectations for round 3?
Who can gain control of the game? Who can keep the tempo where they want it? Randolph-Macon, great offensive team, 90 points a bunch of times this season. They average a really high number, most in the ODAC they average per game. Lynchburg, 4 6-footers, another couple 5'11" players. They've got a huge height advantage. Can the outside offensive explosion from Randolph-Macon offset the huge height advantage that Lynchburg's going to have inside?
Wave after wave of 6-footers coming in off the bench for the Hornets.
They're huge. They start 3 6-footers. They've got 3 more they can bring in at any time, and it just makes it really tough on you because, and Coach LaHaye will admit this, not her strongest defensive team that she's had in recent memory, and not the biggest team that she's had. They're used to having that eraser on the back end. They don't have that, so those guards are going to have to come up big if we're going to have a close one down the stretch.
Randolph-Macon averaging 88.4 points per game. That's nearly 15 better than second place Eastern Mennnonite at 73.9. But as Richie mentioned, the Yellow Jackets also give up a lot of points, 76.3 a game, most in the ODAC. 96-91, Randolph-Macon over Bridgewater in the quarterfinals on Thursday, and Lynchburg held off a spirited rally from number 6 Roanoke. Brittany Drew off the dribble, jump shot no good. Huge defensive stop for Eastern Mennnonite coming out of the timeout.
And they had to have it because we talk about when's danger time. You're midway through the second half. You find yourself down by 6. You really don't have anything fluidly going on the offensive end. You're not able to turn them over and get transition baskets. It's a danger spot right now in this game for Eastern Mennnonite, and Coach Griffin knows it.
And the Royals need another stop after Steph Reinheimer was called for the palming violation. So Lila Scott in the backcourt now for the Quakers. Weatherly, Drew, Martin, and here's King under the rim. And King off the dribble sets up the little hook shot.
I mean, you can't say it enough. It's just not fair. I mean, there's nothing you can do to stop that shot. As long as that shot's going in, there's no way to stop it. There's nothing that Eastern Mennnonite can do.
23 for Morgan King. 8-point Guilford lead, just over 10 minutes left. Sykes will be going to the line. Fouled there by Martin.
But Martin giving them huge minutes, beating and banging with Sykes. You don't want to waste defensively Oglesby and King to beat and bang on Sykes inside because she's going to win that battle. So Martin coming in, giving them some good minutes and absorbing a lot of contact from Sykes on the interior.
First free throw up and good for Sykes. The Royals are 14 of 16 at the line this afternoon.
It's keeping them in the game, and I like what Coach Griffin's doing right now. He's got both Reinheimer sisters in the game with Sykes. So you get Sykes inside. If you get it to her, she can draw the defense, kick it out to your three-point shooters, and maybe gobble up some of this lead in a hurry.
Sykes is not hit from the field, but she's 4 of 4 at the foul line. 6-point lead now for the Quakers. Scott fires up the three. It won't go. Martin crashing the offensive glass, stripped on the way back up.
Nice job by Sykes right there. She got beat on the glass. She didn't box out her player, but didn't quit on the play. Great job coming back and able to get the possession for Eastern Mennnonite.
Bianca Egarza finding it very tough to score in the half court. Big offensive rebound for the Royals.
I think Sykes just took an elbow to the rib. She's hobbling out there pretty good right now.
Still calling for the ball, though. Sets up Jess Reinheimer. Thought that was going in.
But that's what I'm talking about. Sykes commands so much attention on the interior, she can kick it out for an open look.
Back to Eastern Mennnonite, a quick shot in transition. Probably not what the Quakers want right now.
And you can see Coach Flamini over there. Don't do that. We had a 2-on-2 situation. You've got the advantage with King on the floor. Wait for her to get down there. We saw how well she runs the floor. She was coming, but the Scott went a little bit too quick with that, and it caused a situation where they could have had a chance to extend the lead even further. Instead, they give it right back to Eastern Mennnonite.
Hitting the 9-minute mark in Salem. Guilford has beaten Eastern Mennnonite each of the last two tournaments. Morgan King, the big rejection on Bianca Egarza.
And Egarza's not going to win that battle. She may draw a foul on her, but she's not going to win that battle. The matchup I like right now, and they've adjusted to it, is Martin was guarding Jess Reinheimer. Reinheimer can take her out beyond the three-point line and get some open looks. Coach Flamini saw that as well, got Oglesby right back in the game.
Inbounds pass comes to Kayla Baltimore. And there's a foul on the Quakers off the ball. Well, now we have two different calls as the officials sort things out. And the foul is indeed against Guilford.
And that was Taylor, and that's her fourth. She was able to get around the first screen. Nobody called the second screen. She just lowered her shoulder, tried to blow through it. That's an easy call for the officials. And now Taylor, coming off the big first half, is going to have to sit here for some more time during the second.
Alicia Egarza has come back in. So the two Egarzas, the two Reinheimers, and Baltimore. Not only do you have a better shooting lineup, but you've got three seniors on the floor right now for Eastern Mennnonite.
Well, you've got veterans out there, you've got all conference players, you've got your best shooters out there, but you're really, really small right now. So defensively, have to see how they're going to attack Oglesby and King on the defensive end.
Scott directing traffic, gets the ball in the hands of Kayla Adams, who's had the good second half. Adams with 9 on the shot clock. Good move in the paint. Missed a shot.
And nice box out by Egarza. Was able to push King outside of the paint and allow one of her teammates to come in and pick up that offensive rebound. Great drive, and that's what you wanted to see Baltimore do. Step up and give us some of those points that she did last year during the ODAC tournament.
Baltimore pulls the Royals to within 4 at timeout. Just under 8 minutes to go as Guilford tries to make a big lead stand up and get back to the conference championship game. I want to go back to Morgan King, 23 points for the senior. Her previous season high, 17.
Well, she's just so capable of scoring points in bunches because she's got such good touch. I mean, she's 6. They list her at 6 foot. She's got to be 6'2". I mean, she's considerably taller than other 6-footers we see out there on the floor. And when she's got long arms, she's an 80+% free throw shooter. She's got great touch up to 18 feet. She can do it all. offensive rebounds, stick backs. She's really tough to defend. But when you've got Gabby Oglesby and as explosive as she is, King doesn't have to score more than 16, 17 points a game. But she's showing today that if it's her turn and if needed, she can put up the huge offensive game.
Jess Reinheimer had the big first half for Eastern Mennonite. Bianca Garza in double figures. She has had to work really hard. The Royals need someone else to step up, and I think Kayla Baltimore realized that on that last take.
Well, they're going to have to. Sykes just can't really get anything going inside. She's battling her guts out. I mean, she took a vicious elbow to the ribs, was in invisible pain, had to go out of the game. She's doing a great job inside, but you can almost use her just as a decoy, throw it into her, let them collapse and kick it out. Garza puts up her numbers, but not a very efficient afternoon for the All ODAC performer.
The Quakers again navigating their way through the Eastern Mennonite press. 0 turnovers so far for Guilford here in the second half.
And that's what they needed to clean up. You guarantee Coach Flamini was talking about that at halftime. Those 8 turnovers kept the game close in the first half.
Adams, a 3, in and out with the shot clock under 10.
Surprised it was as close as it was, considering it didn't really look like she wanted to take that shot. She kind of double clutched a couple of times. Finally took the shot, almost went in, but unfortunately it did not. Eastern Mennonite in transition, another foul. So from this moment on, not this one, but every foul after this, Eastern Mennonite will be shooting free throws, and they've done a great job of that here this afternoon.
Second foul there on Gabby Oglesby. Alyssa Brown returning to the Eastern Mennonite lineup. Bianca Garza feed to Baltimore. Now Brown set up for 3, well off the mark. And while the ball was in the air, an Eastern Mennonite foul will be the second on Garza.
Yeah, and right there, Garza just got caught out of position. She saw the air ball go up there, thought she could go after it. Oglesby had position. She hooked her, pulled her away. It was an easy call for the officials.
Royals do get to set up the press, but the Quakers break it rather easily. 4-point Guilford lead inside of 7 minutes to play. Oglesby, the pull-up from the low blocks, and she now has a dozen points.
And if they're going to play this small lineup, they've got to run a guard at her if she gets the ball at the high post. She had 4 seconds to sit there and methodically make that move. You can't give her that much time. There's no way Reinheimer can stop her one-on-one.
Garza just taking it to the rim, Harden with the stuff, and here come the Quakers.
And again, Garza trying to force the issue, trying to get going. She knows her team needs her, but just can't really get any easy looks against this tough Guilford defense.
Quiet day for Brittany Drew, averages 9.3 points. Third on the team behind Oglesby and King, is yet to score. Misses a one-handed fling over Jess Reinheimer.
She was just throwing that up there to let Oglesby go get it, but nice defense. Brown, Andy Garza boxed out Oglesby, didn't let her go get that lob.
Another bucket for Kayla Baltimore. Nearly got the steal to follow it up. 51-47.
Eastern Mennonite doing a great job with this small lineup of hanging around. Wonder how long it's going to be before Coach Flamini puts Morgan King back into the game to go big.
Weatherly misses. The rebound comes off the shoulder of Garza. It will remain Guilford basketball. That shot did not draw iron, so only 5 seconds left on the possession clock.
And Coach doing a great job over there. Coach Flamini making sure her players know they've got 5 seconds to shoot. Probably get it to Oglesby quickly here, see if she can just go to work.
She does. A very difficult shot. Officials unable to tell if that ball touched Harden or Garza. Now they say it belongs to Eastern Mennonite.
And if they had given the ball back to Guilford, they were going to have to do an adjustment there. That ball didn't hit the rim either, but the shot clock had been reset. So if Guilford did have it, they were only going to have about a second left on the shot clock. Love to see right now for Eastern Mennonite if they can get one of the Reinheimers a clean look at a 3, would give them a ton of confidence going into the last 5 minutes of play.
Sykes is back out there as well. Now Baltimore. Shot clock at 10. Sykes back out for Brown. Baltimore down the lane. Adams got the block.
Nice
Baltimore
block.
comes down with the ball and goes out of bounds.
Nice block. I didn't know if they might blow the whistle and call a jump ball on that situation because she got all ball. Never let Baltimore bring it above her waist. Nice defensive play by the senior, Adams.
So back to the Quakers. Up by 4.
And that was huge because keeping the 4-point lead allows Coach Flamini to give Oglesby another little break before this last 3 minutes of what should be a tight one.
King finally misses one, and the ball deflects out back to EMU.
And that's what you just have to hope for. I mean, you can't stop that shot. You've got to let her take it. But as soon as the shot goes up, if you turn and box her out, don't let her go off after the offensive rebound. It gives you a chance to get that defensive stop.
Sykes away to Steph Reinheimer. Baltimore thought about the 3. Feeds inside Jess Reinheimer. Reinheimer travels. Surprised that they're not putting her on the perimeter to see if she can get a look from the outside?
Well, she's got a mismatch against Harden in there. She's got a little bit of height advantage. She's definitely got a move advantage. She's got that great up and under where she can use her spin move, which is what she tried to do there. Harden was able to keep enough contact, and that drew the walk. I thought that Steph Reinheimer would take the 3 from straight on. That's her shot. She passed it up early in the possession. I would have liked to seen her take that shot.
Timeout Guilford with 4:05 left in the second half. The Quakers lead the Royals 51-47. Eastern Mennonite 15-1 against the ODAC, a 13-game winning streak. Their last loss was their only conference defeat. That was an upset at Roanoke, 69-65 on January the 11th. They got Guilford in double overtime in Harrisonburg 2 weeks later, the only time these two teams played during the regular season. But the Quakers building up an 8-point lead and so far able to fend off the #1 seed.
And they've been able to hold it off by giving King and Oglesby breaks. They haven't lost that lead. She hasn't had to go back with them. She's also got one more bullet in the gun. She's got Taylor, who's been able to sit over there. She hasn't been tempted to put her out there with those 4 fouls because they've been able to maintain this lead. Great job by Eastern Mennonite. This is what you wanted. If you're the Royals, you want the score to be right here. You want it to be ugly. You want it to be a mucked up game, because Guilford, if they're able to get going and get in transition and get their guards involved and stretch out the score, putting a lot of points on the board, that's how they easily handled Virginia Wesleyan on Thursday. Eastern Mennonite hasn't let the guards involved. They said, okay, King, Oglesby, you can have your points, but we're going to try and stop everybody else.
The front court tandem has accounted for 35 of the Quakers' 51. Taylor had 5 in the first half. Adams had 7 early in the second half. And then Brittany Drew held scoreless so far.
Drew was huge on Thursday with those 3 3-pointers that she hit to help extend it, to help stretch out the defense and make it easier for Oglesby at the time to go to work.
Here's Taylor getting back involved. Steph Reinheimer with the help side defense.
She was just a little apprehensive at the rim because Steph had stepped over and was going to draw the charge and made her alter that shot. If not, she should have had the easy basket.
Sykes gets it out front. Full head of steam, but she travels.
Not the move you want. You want Sykes to get inside, get the defender on her back, and then make her move. She's not as effective 12, 14 feet from the basket.
And that Royals press has not really bothered Guilford in the second half. It's the half-court defense keeping EMU within striking distance. Taylor on the baseline. Hopeful lob underneath. Guess who's there?
Anytime you get in trouble, when all you have to do is just throw it up towards the rim, it makes the half-court offense a whole lot easier to run.
25 for Morgan King, more than double her season average. 3 minutes to play, and the Quakers lead by 6.
They really need a basket here. You don't want Guilford to extend this to an 8, 9-point lead with time ticking off the clock like this.
Go inside for Sykes. Oglesby with the rejection. That ball last touched by Guilford. The Royals keep it, but the shot clock is at 4.
Love to see them run the Reinheimers off of a double screen behind one another. See if you can get one of those guys a look at the top of the key.
Sideline inbounds play for Alyssa Brown. Here's Baltimore. Baltimore the drive, off glass, no. Quakers rebound.
Good
King running the floor.
Good defensive stop for the Quakers, and now King, pull it out, run your offense, because now you've got a chance to make it really tough on Eastern Mennonite.
Jeanette Taylor takes the early shot and then fouls out of the game.
Yeah, Coach Lamini hanging her head in disgust. You didn't want the first shot, and then you certainly didn't want her going out there and picking up a foul 94 feet away from the basket the way she did. And now she's going to have to take a seat. One less player she's going to have the rest of the way. And to make matters worse, it's 1-1 for a team that has missed, what, one free throw all game? Two?
They are 15 of 17. Brown is 1 of 2. 69% on the year. The Royals need these. Trailing by 6 with inside of 2.5 minutes to play, and Brown gets the first to go.
So instead of pushing your lead to 8, you took a quick shot and then fouled, put them on the free throw line where they're able to score with the clock stop. Huge possession right there for Eastern Mennonite.
1 of 2 again for Brown, but she tracks down the rebound, and Kevin Griffin calls timeout.
Good hustle right there. They've gone back to that smaller lineup. They've taken Sykes out of the game, going back to the smaller lineup. They've got a quickness advantage out there, and that showed right there on that play.
53-48. Guilford has led most of this second half by as many as 8 points. Big possession for the Royals, trying to pull within 2 or 3.
And I would attack. I would have tried to get attack on the dribble, kick it out for an open three-point shooter, or attack, try and draw some kind of contact. Anything that, any whistle right now, you're going to shoot free throws, and you're shooting them at a really good clip right now. Stop the clock, get to the free throw line, and try and shrink this lead. Right now, still just a 2-possession game, so with 2:24 an eternity to go.
Don't forget, we've got number 2 Randolph-Macon and number 3 Lynchburg coming up half an hour after we're done with semifinal number 1, and then the 2 men's Final 4 games later on today, 6 p.m. Eastern Mennonite back in action. The only team that made it to the semifinals in both men's and women's hoops. Kirby Dean's Runnin' Royals are going to take on the number 8 seed Hampton Sydney after the Tigers upset Randolph-Macon. And then number 2 Virginia Wesleyan and number 11 Washington and Lee at 8 p.m. tonight.
Great day of basketball. As we always see on that semifinal day, it's such a great game. You have 4 games, all of them competitive. What a great start we've had to our semifinal day here this afternoon.
And the Royals score here, put some pressure back on Guilford. Jess Reinheimer, Garza wants it inside, and Oglesby is not going to give her any ground.
I just don't understand. That play hasn't worked all game long. I don't know why I would have gone to it there. Garza, everything that she's done positive today has been penetrating towards the basket, not on a straight post up.
So the Quakers maintained a 5-point lead. There's a reach in on the drive by Weatherly, no shot, and it's team foul number 5 on EMU.
But you gotta love that if you're Guilford. They ran 18 seconds off the shot clock. Now they get 30 more to do the same thing again without really having to shoot if they don't want to.
Steph Reinheimer picking up her first foul. King handling it on the perimeter, guarded by Jess Reinheimer.
With your height advantage right now, you run it down to about 5 seconds, throw the lob inside, and take your chances.
Shot clock at 12. King off the dribble, wants to get it to Oglesby and does. Turn and shoot, good.
Exactly, that's all you have to do right now if you're Guilford. Just don't turn the basketball over, get it down to about 4 or 5 seconds, get it to King or Oglesby. They've got a huge height advantage, and they're making the Royals pay for playing that smaller lineup.
Deep 3 for Steph Reinheimer, no, but Jess gets the rebound.
Good hustle, extended the possession, but it was still a great shot. That's the shot I wanted to see a couple of minutes ago.
Baltimore misses the first attempt and the second. Oglesby rebounds under a minute to go. The Royals are going to have to foul.
Now I just get it, well, I would just try and get it to Morgan King and tell her to hold it up above her head right now. Make them foul one of the best free throw shooters in the ODAC.
That was the 6th team foul, so we'll take one more for Eastern Mennonite to put Guilford in the bonus.
Right now all I'm doing is lobbing it right inside, lobbing the ball in to Morgan King. Let him foul her, and I'll take my chances down the stretch.
got a foul before the ball comes in, and it's Kayla Adams who will be going to the line for 1 and 1.
And that's a good move. If you're going to foul anyway, foul with the clock being stopped. As long as you can get away with it, save as much time as you possibly can. You got a couple timeouts left. You're still in a 3-possession game. It's still not out of reach.
Kayla Adams, a 68% free throw shooter. The Quakers just 4 of 8 at the line today, and Adams misses. And King over the back on the rebound. That means free throws at the other end.
And you're putting a great free throw shooter in Jess Reinheimer on the free throw line. So you got exactly what you wanted. You got the foul with the clock stopped, and now you get a chance to score with the clock being stopped as well.
18 fouls, so it's 1 and 1. Jess Reinheimer 5 of 5 today, all in the first half. 82% on the season. 52.1 seconds to play. 2 must-have free throws for Eastern Mennonite. Reinheimer calmly hits the front end.
And with 3 timeouts left for Coach Flamini, wouldn't mind seeing her take one here after this free throw to set up the offensive play, get the ball inbounds to King, because that's who you want at the free throw line down the stretch.
The Royals needed them. Jess Reinheimer delivers 55-50. Through double team. And the timeout comes a bit late, but it is granted. 48 seconds left in a 5-point game.
And that's what the 10-second count has put back into women's college basketball. Before, you would have had to have fouled on that possession right there. Here, with 52 seconds left, you force a 10-second call without committing a foul. You get the ball right back down by 5 in a 2-possession game. You didn't have to foul right away. I think Guilford automatically assumed, hey, we've got a 5-point lead, they're going to foul us. They got it in bounds, held the ball, and didn't. We saw Shenandoah employ that same strategy against Eastern Mennonite on Thursday.
Quakers are going to have to hit some free throws to see their way through to tomorrow's championship.
Well, they're going to have to, and right now, I mean, if I've got an 82% free throw shooter, Morgan King, having the best game she's had all season, I'm just getting the ball into her right now. She's big enough to throw over top of the press, and if they foul her, she's good enough, experienced enough to go to the free throw line and knock those down.
Saw a couple of shots of the stands here at the Civic Center starting to fill up, and we already see some yellow, some red, as the Randolph-Macon and Lynchburg fans make their way into the building. That's our second semifinal. The 2 winners will meet Sunday afternoon at 1 o'clock. The ODAC Championship in an automatic berth to the NCAA Division III tournament on the line. Quakers have it, leading by 5 with 48 seconds to go. King will inbound, has to hold her spot. Gets it into Adams. Now away to Morgan King. Lila Scott out there as well.
I'd foul her right away. Coming in off the bench, hasn't played a whole lot, now turns it over.
A steal for Alicia Brown. The layup makes it a 3-point game.
Right there, they were trying to get the foul on Scott. The officials did not call it. Scott lost the handle. Brown, easy layup. And now Guilford starting to tighten up a little bit here down the stretch. Don't want to see that one slip away. You would automatically assume you had an 8-point lead or a 7-point lead. Looked like you were ready to put the game away. Now, 20 seconds later, you're in a 1-possession ball game.
Brown was trying to foul, as you said, and didn't get the whistle initially. Stayed with the play, got the ball away. 55-52, 35.8 seconds to go. Now here's a question, 30-second shot clock. It's a 1-possession game. Do you foul if you're Eastern Mennonite?
Depends on the situation, depends on who you can foul. First, you're going to take your first 10 seconds to see if you can get a steal like they did right there, because if you can get a steal, of course, that's what you want. If you can get a 10-second call, that would be fantastic. If they get it across half court, now you've got to make your decision in the huddle. Do you foul right away when they cross half court, or do you play with a timeout left, letting them run it down? My problem with letting the shot clock run down, the success that Guilford has had late in the shot clock, lobbing it up to King and Oglesby, whether they make it or miss it, their offensive rebounding, I would foul as soon as it comes across half court.
Ball comes into Kayla Adams. It's up her dribble, comes away to Oglesby. Now ahead to King, who gets it across.
You don't want to foul her, but they're going to have to.
So King will be shooting 1 and 1 as Jess Reinheimer gives the foul. By the way, during that last timeout, shot in the crowd of Richard McElwee. He was the head coach the last time Eastern Mennonite won the title back in 2004. For all the success that Kevin Griffin has had taking his team to the tournament last year, they have not won the championship. And Morgan King, even when the free throw is a little bit off, it goes in. It's been that kind of day for the second team All-ODAC selection.
And that's where shooters love to see these nice soft rims at the Civic Center. That ball just kept bouncing around till it finally found the bottom of the net.
King again, 2 for 2, 57-52.
You got to attack the basket quickly and get a quick shot. You're down 2 possessions.
Brown inside Bianca Igarza. Oglesby there. Good defense again. And Adams is fouled with 14 seconds left.
Because of the height advantage and the length of Oglesby, she doesn't have to leave the floor. Igarza has not finished one of those all game long, and they've tried it about 10 or 12 times, posting her up inside. Not going to win that battle, has been demonstrated all afternoon long.
It is still 1-1. That was the 19th foul. Adams missed the front end of the bonus a moment ago. Gets this one, and now she can make it a 3-possession game.
Yeah, this free throw here all but seals it if she makes it, but the 10 seconds that Eastern Mennonite lost on the clock there pretty much sealed their fate with that last possession.
2 for 2 for Kayla Adams, 59-52. Sprinting ahead is Baltimore. Underneath Igarza, layup with 9.3 seconds left. But still a 5-point game, and the next EMU foul will put Guilford in the double bonus.
Well, they've done a good job of trying to shorten, they're trying to keep the game as going as long as they possibly could. They've extended it by fouling, they've extended it by putting good pressure defense, getting a couple steals. But it looks like right now, 5-point game with 9.3 seconds. As good a free throw shooter as Morgan King is, it's pretty simple right now. Throw it into the 6-footer, see if she can finish this thing off and get ready for the finals on tomorrow.
5-point margin. Quakers just need to get the ball in cleanly, and the Royals will have to foul right away. 9.3 seconds to go. Oglesby will be the inbounder. She can run the baseline if she needs to. She'll get it into King. Away to Adams, and the Quakers push it up the floor to Weatherly. And fouled on the layup with 2.9 seconds to go. It looks like a 3rd straight appearance in the ODAC championship game for Guilford.
You saw 2 seniors go over to the first-year Weatherly and say, don't take that shot, just dribble it out, let's end this game and get out of here. Trying to give the freshman a little bit of advice.
She makes the first of the 2 free throws, 60-54, but under 3 seconds left. Weatherly gets the roll on number 2. One last look for the Royals. Kayla Baltimore pulls up, almost hits the 30-footer. Guilford knocking out Eastern Mennonite for the 3rd straight year here at the Salem Civic Center. The Quakers down the Royals 61-54 in the semifinals. Stephanie Flamini's team will play for a 3rd straight conference title.
Just too much King and Oglesby, not only the points that they scored, but defensively virtually eliminated any inside game that Eastern Mennonite had to try and win it from the perimeter. And like we saw, when the legs start going on Thursday, those shots don't fall as easily as they did when you were fresh.
Morgan King, 27 points in this game. Gabby Oglesby, 14 points and 6 rebounds. She was tremendous on the defensive end as well. And Guilford really holding Eastern Mennonite in check, holding them to the low 30s percentage-wise on offense.
And that's what Guilford does. When you've got those 2 erasers on the back end of your defense, you can choke people off. Their shooting percentage goes down, their offensive rebounds go down, their easy looks go down. And as long as the guards, let's not take credit away from the guards for Guilford. 8 turnovers in the second half, did a much better job of taking care of the basketball. And if you didn't put Eastern Mennonite on the free throw line, you didn't give them transition baskets, they struggled all afternoon long.